Hi there, this is Unmesh from PiXimperfect, and I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you from the bottom of my heart for your immense support towards this channel and also taking the time to watch our videos. It absolutely means the most, and I do understand that thank you is just not enough. So today I have a gift for you that you so highly deserve. So what we have done is we have made a collection of 10 best Photoshop actions for you that we have ever made in this channel, and you're going to be able to download them for free. And also, all of these actions have been updated to work with the latest versions of Photoshop, and also they are updated to work much more efficiently. Let's go through how we can make the most of each action and how they work. And also, for your convenience, this video is divided into sections. So anytime you want to come back and skip to that specific action, just click on the timestamps in the description below. So without any further ado, let's get started. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, website, or an online store, make it with Squarespace. Skip the hassles of coding, image resizing, the complex process of updating or uploading, and build a website with clean, beautiful, and optimized templates much faster and easier, so that you can focus more on your craft. Each template is a starting point for a wide variety of projects, whether you're doing your side hustle or promoting your main gig. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/PiXimperfect to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So here we are in the magical world of Photoshop, and the first thing that we need to do is to download the action using this link or use the link in the description. So the first action that we have is the automatic dodging and burning. Isn't that cool? But before that, let's open up the actions panel. To open them up, if it's not already open, you can go to Windows and then Actions. Or if you see this arrow right here, just click on it. Now to install the action, it's also pretty simple. Just click on this grid and go to Load Action, and then you locate the action that you downloaded, and it will be right here. Alright, all the actions are inside the set PiXimperfect Action Collection. So we need to open up the set to go through all of them. Alright, so the first action is automatic dodging and burning. So all you need to do, first of all, zoom into the image, zoom into the face, just select that and play the action. Now a dialog box will pop up and it says shadows. So now it's time for us to select the shadows. Okay, all you can do, you can decrease the fuzziness to 0 and then play with the range so that only shadows are selected. Keep in mind, white are the areas which are selected. So we need to find the place where the shadows are well defined. So I think this is all right. See, it shows nicely. And then you can increase the fuzziness to make the transition between area that is not selected and the area that is selected smoother. All right, so let's go ahead and increase it. This is fine, and maybe we will have to play with the range. This is okay. Hit OK. Now another dialog box will pop up, and this one is for the highlights. Let's go ahead and increase the range. White are the areas which are selected, and fuzziness, let's increase it just to this bit. Maybe this is fine for the highlights. Hit OK once you're satisfied. This seems to be okay. And you are done. Let's have a look at it. So let's collapse it. Have a look at the before and after. So this is the after and this is the before. Look, so much more dimension. Now here's the thing. It is a mask. You can modify it any which way you want. For example, you didn't want burning on the outside. It's very simple. So which one of them is burning? Have a look at it. This one, the top one, is burning because in this case, the shadows are bright or white. So you can take the brush and paint black in here. Make sure the foreground color is black. Just simply paint black. Let's increase the flow to 100%. And we are good. Have a look. You also didn't want it on the jacket. And we are good. So you can just zoom in and maybe just remove it from the eyes as well. And have a look at it. You are pretty much done. Now, if you want to decrease the darkness, you can just double click in here. And then you can just pull it down to add more darkness to it. Similarly, if you want to increase or decrease the highlights, you can double click on this one and control it. For me, just a little bit was fine. Maybe let's remove the burning from the beard. So let's go ahead and select this mask and then take the brush, black color. The best part about this is that it's all customizable. Let's go ahead and decrease the flow. all of the actions that I'm going to give you is absolutely customizable. It works with most of the images, and that's the quality of a good action. There you go. Let's have a look at it. Look at the textury beard. It looks amazing. So before, after, before, after. Cool, isn't it? Let's go over to our second example. Let's have a look at this image. As you can see, the face is very, very flat. So we will open up the automatic dodging and burning, auto dodge and burn. Let's play it, and it will ask you the shadows first. So you can move it right here, and you can decrease the fuzziness to define where the shadows are. So I'm gonna go, this is fine for me. Then increase the fuzziness a little bit, then adjust the range so that only the shadows are selected. Hit OK. Similarly for, I guess this is fine. Hit OK. And then let's collapse it. Have a look at it. Here is the before, here is the after. You can see the dimension. Now, if you only wanted it on his face, you can also do this by creating a group of both of them. So hold the Control or Command, select the other one, and then press Control or Command G. Then you can simply hold the Alter option, click on the mask button. Now this creates a negative mask. You can take the brush with the foreground color white, press X to toggle between the foreground and the background, and then just paint with white on his face, in case you just wanted it on his face. Let's increase the flow to 100. There you go. Just on the face, just dimension on his face. Have a look at it. Here's the before, here's the after. And that's how we make portraits pop. Let's move on to our next action, and that is check layers. Now, check layers allow you to see the image in a way you cannot see with naked eyes. It's useful in compositing, graphic designing, or even retouching. It's very, very important. I have some examples for you, and there are other tutorials on check layers as well. You can check them out right here. All right, and also they are linked up in the description. Okay, and there's, by the way, a tutorial on creating a composite with check layers. So check that out as well. All right, so we will open this and click on check layers and just play it. It will create all kinds of check layers for you. The first one right here is solarize. Turn it on, and you will be able to see everything, every detail of the image. It's important because you can see at this point that there's a spot right over there. Have a look. There's a spot which was not visible with the naked eyes. So if I turn it off, it's just not visible. But when you print it or when you edit it, you might miss it, and it can be visible in the final work. We cannot afford to do that, right? So turn it on. See, every discrepancy is now visible. Even the flyaway hairs are now visible. So if you're into removing those, you can do that, right? The next one is hue check. It shows you only the colors without any highlights, shadows, or midtones, only the flat colors, right? The root colors. Turn it on, and you will see only colors. Any area that doesn't have any color, that area will go gray, right? As you can see, there's skin color right over there. Now, this is very useful in compositing, as you will see in this video. To discuss saturation and luminosity, let's move on to our next example. Have a look at this example. Similarly, I'll just open up the Actions panel, select check layers, and just play it. Now, let's have a look at saturation. If I turn it on, all you will see is saturation measured. So, the brighter the areas, the more saturated the area is, which means the more amount of color that area has, right? The darker an area, the lesser color or the lesser saturation that area has, right? Always keep in mind that saturation is how much color. On the other hand, hue is what color, right? As you can see, if I turn it off, this area has a lot of blue. On the other hand, this area has very less colors. So it goes black, and this one is white. The more the color, the brighter that area is. It doesn't have anything to do with highlights or shadows. So if I turn it on, as you can see, look at the highlights. It's absolutely black. Why? Because the highlights in this case have no color in them. So it's just a saturation mask. Also useful in compositing. If you watch the video, you'll find out how. The next one is luminosity check. If I turn it on, it takes away all the colors and allows you to see only the highlights, shadows, and midtones. It's very essential in matching elements of a composite. It's also very important in dodging and burning. The next action is one of the coolest of the bunch, and that is low frequency retouching. Now, what does that do? Well, it keeps the texture intact and allows you to only edit the lower frequency color and the tones. But how can that be useful? Let's have a look at this. It has a wide variety of applications. So have a look at this image. She's wearing this blazer or jacket, or I don't know what it's called, but it has a fold. And suppose you want to remove that fold. But if you zoom in, there is some texture. We don't want to disturb that texture. And we really don't have the time for frequency separation. So just open up the Actions panel and just play the low frequency. Click on the low frequency and just play it. Now, it opens up the high pass dialog box. Now, ideally, what you would do is decrease the radius all the way to the left and then gradually increase it and stop at just the point where you begin to see the folds that you want to remove. All right. Up until this point, there are no folds to be seen. Keep on increasing it. Keep on increasing it. If you go beyond this value, you begin to see the folds. So we need to decrease it. Probably 7.4 seems to be fine, but we still see a little bit of the folds. This is okay. 6.4 is fine. Let's go a little higher. 6.8. Hit okay. Now, it looks like nothing happened, right? But if you open this group, we have 3 layers, Paint 1, Paint 2, Paint 3. Now, I have made 3 just for your convenience. You can select any one of them and then just take samples and paint. So you take the brush, you can decrease the flow to somewhere around, let's say 5 or 10%. So I'll go for 5% and take the soft round brush, all right? Let's make the brush a little smaller. And when you select the eyedropper tool, select that and make sure the sample size is not point sample. Make sure it's 5 by 5 or 11 by 11. So I'm going to select 5 by 5 is fine for this one. Take the brush. Now hold the Alt or Option, take a sample and then paint over the folds. It will be gone. And also make sure while you're inside the eyedropper tool, make sure you sample from all layers or current and below. All right. Now let's get back to the brush. Take a sample. Ask yourself this question. If there was no fold, what would that area be painted in? So take a sample, paint. Take a sample, paint. Also, we need to bring the highlights down. Take a sample, paint. It's very, very easy to do. Take a sample, paint. Take a sample, paint. I'm going to make it fast for you. And for that, let's increase the flow to 10%. Take a sample, paint. Take a sample, paint. Very, very easy. Let's have a look at it. Now, I did a very, very quick job. You can just paint here as well. Let's have a look at it. So here is the before and here is the after. Totally gone. Isn't that so cool? So let's go to Paint 2. So if you want to just paint on some other areas, you can use other layers as well. You can create as many layers as you want. And this is just for convenience. For example, say you want to remove, let's say, this fold. So let's do it on layer number 2. So hold the Alt or Option, take a sample, and just paint on that area. Done. So let's have a look at the before and after. Before, after. Easily remove folds or anything which is in the low frequencies. Also, it's not only useful in doing clothes, it can be useful with anything that has texture, also skin. Let's have a look at this example. If we zoom in, there's this darkness around the lips we need to remove. Simply just open up the actions, and you don't want to do full retouching. You just want to edit that particular thing. I'm so sorry, I have a little cold today. And you will select the low frequency retouching and you will just play it. And it will ask you again the value. You will decrease the radius. Keep on increasing it. Just when you begin to see the darkness that you want to remove, you will stop. All right, so we will probably stop right here. 3.0 is fine. Hit OK. Now let's go to Group 1 and then Paint 1 and zoom in and then take the brush. Brush is already selected. Hold the Alt or Option, take a sample, and then just simply paint on that area. And it's gone. Nothing is disturbed. The hair is there. Everything is there. And it's working fine. Have a look at it. So here is the before. Here is the after. So easily gone. Let's move on to the next action, and this is one of the most popular actions, and that is skin softening. All right, so let's zoom in. Have a look at the skin. we need to soften it a little bit. Now keep in mind, this action will not produce high-end result. This is just for quick skin retouching job, all right? So all you need to do, just click on that and click on skin softening, click on play. Now here you need to select a radius where every tone is evened out, all right? Just look at the tone. Don't worry about the texture. Just look at the tone. For me, I would select something like 27. 29 is fine. See, every tone is softened out and evened out. Hit OK. Now, this is very important. This brings in the texture. You decrease the radius to 0.1 and you gradually increase it. Just when you begin to see the texture, the amount of texture you want, you stop. Too much texture will bring everything back. We don't want that, right? We want a tiny bit of texture. This is fine. This looks fine. 5.0 is good. Hit OK. Now, it will automatically select the brush for you. It will automatically make sure that the foreground color is white. All you need to do with a soft brush, you can increase the flow or keep the flow at 10, whatever you like. Just going to increase it and just simply paint on the areas where you want the softness. Keep in mind, stay away from the edges. This action does a very bad job around the edge. So just keep in mind, but it's very great for the main areas. Or just paint on the areas where you need softening. See how easy that was? Also, you can change the values of high pass and Gaussian blur later. To know more about it, check out this video. Just paint and you are done. Maybe you want to paint on the nose, maybe on the forehead. Well, that was very easy, wasn't it? Now, maybe here a little bit. And we are done. Now, if you zoom in, have a look at it. Here's the before, here's the after. That was so easy to do. Now you might want to decrease the opacity depending upon how natural you want to keep it. So I'm going to keep it at 68, 69. That's fine. Done. Keep in mind that before applying this skin softening action, it is advised that you first remove the blemishes. Alright? Now if you want to customize the skin softening after applying the action, you can simply open the Gaussian blur. Let's open that up. And you can actually control the texture. So if you want to add more texture, you will increase it. If you want to reduce the texture, you will decrease it. So it's absolutely customizable. Let's go for 4.8. That's fine. Now, if you want to even out the tone even more, you can just double click on the high pass, hit OK, and you can just reapply it. So that's going to be too much. You want to increase it, hit OK, and everything will be applied again. So every action that I'm going to give you is absolutely customizable during the application and also after the application of the action. Let's move on to our next action, which is creative vignetting. Whenever we want to draw the attention of the viewer towards a particular area, this can be very helpful. Now, you cannot just directly go ahead and play this action. No, it won't work. There are some instructions to it. That's why we have the video. We have to create a new layer. All right, take the brush. No matter what color is selected, doesn't really matter. You can make it bigger, harder. It's absolutely upon you. Just cover the area of attention. So in this case, we want to draw the attention towards the car. So we will just paint over it a little bit more around. Okay. You don't have to be accurate at all. Then you need to just open up the actions. Now we have two actions for creative vignetting. We will talk about the top one later. The second one is creative vignette without highlights. Let's just play it. And you're done. You are done. Let's have a look. Here's the before, here's the after. We have drawn the attention towards the car very easily. Now it's absolutely customizable again. If you want more of vignetting, you can increase the opacity. Okay. If you want it to be more softer or harder, you can just open up the properties of the mask, make sure the mask is selected, and then open up the properties, or you can simply go to Windows and make sure properties is checked. Where is properties? There we go. All right. And make sure you're in the mask properties. Now you can increase the feather to add more softness to it, or you can decrease the feather to make it hard. We don't want it hard. We want it soft. All right. This is fine. And if you want to decrease the amount, you can. You can also change the color if you want to. If you want to make it white, I know you can, but it's advisable that you do not make it white. It's kind of cliche. It doesn't look good. All right, so you can choose any darker color like dark red or anything you like. I'm going to leave it at black and hit OK. Now I want you to look closely at this image. Now this might be the look that you're going for, but have a look. As we have added the darkness, let's decrease the opacity, the highlights have also been darkened. What if you want to keep the highlights intact? In that case, you will use the second one. Let me open up another example so that we can demonstrate it better. So this is the one. Let's open that up. Okay. Now, in this case, the kid is the center of attraction. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. With the brush, just paint on the kid. So adorable. All right. Now, let's open up the action. Now, if I play the without highlights action, let's play it. We darken the sun. We don't want that to happen. Have a look. Here's the before, here's the after. We did not want to darken the sun over there, but we wanted to add darkness around. So let's delete it. Let's do that again. Let's create a new layer. Paint over the kid or the child, and then select the top one and play. Have a look. We have added darkness, but the sun is not darkened. So you can control the opacity from here. This looks very nice. And I think it's too soft, so we'll decrease the feather. Somewhere around this value is good. 200 is fine. And have a look at the before and after. So here's the before, here's the after. Looks so nice, doesn't it? The next exciting action we have is called selective color saturation. This is one of the most natural ways to increase the saturation or boost the colors in Photoshop. And let me show you why. If I just go ahead and create a hue saturation adjustment layer and just simply increase the saturation, see what happens. See, the reds begin to leak and there's so much red, it's just bleeding out in the image, just destroying the image, right? So instead of doing this, if I do this, if I turn it off and if I just play that action, let's go ahead and delete this. And let's go open the actions panel. And if I choose the selective color saturation and play it, let's have a look at it. It's so natural. No more bleeding of red. Have a look. If I turn it off and create a hue saturation adjustment layer and increase the saturation, have a look at the red. It's just increased and the skies are looking bad. There's a lot of banding. Have a look at this edge. It's not looking right. But if I turn this off and turn this one on, see how natural this is? See how natural the water looks? If you want more color from this layer, you'll just have to select that layer, press Ctrl or Command J to duplicate it. Even if you duplicate it, look at this line. It's still not damaged. Look at the water. The red is still not bleeding and the image looks overall so much more nicer. Of course, we need to decrease the opacity here. Let's increase it just a bit and we are good. On the other hand, if I just turn on the hue saturation, have a look at the water. Have a look at this banding right over there. That's why it's one of the most natural ways to enhance the colors. One of the other huge benefits of going by this action is that you can target each color. For example, if you think red is too much, you can open up the properties by double-clicking on the symbol of the selective color adjustment layer and then just go to reds and increase the cyan because cyan is the opposite of red. So there you go. You decrease the red. So everything is under your control. You can control the magenta blues. So it's not saturation with just one slider. You have a lot more sliders to play with. The next action is pretty straightforward and it's about adding radiance. Have a look at this example. For example, you want to add punch to this monument. So you would simply open up the actions panel, choose radiance, just play it. The high pass will show up. Now, you would keep on increasing the radius to the point where you begin to see dimension here. So at this point, we see the pillars pop up. It's all looking nice. This is good. So I'm going to stop at 52. That's fine. Hit OK. Stop. Done. Now, those were the instructions. You should have read that. But just open this up. You can control the fill of the highlights and the shadows. So if you don't want so much of a highlight, you will decrease the fill. Right here, 7%, 6% is fine. Maybe we want lesser shadows. 27, 26. This is fine. Now we only want it on this building, not on the skies. So we will just collapse the group and then create a negative mask. hold the Alt or Option, click on the mask button, and then simply take the brush foreground color white, and then with a soft brush, let's make the brush softer. Press D to set it to defaults. I accidentally chose black. D, okay. And then simply paint on it. Have a look at the difference. So this is the before, this is the after. So much more punch. The next action is created by popular demand, and that is the painterly effect. Let's have a look at the action. So let's zoom into this adorable little girl, and we're going to open up the actions panel and select painterly and just play it. Now the high pass dialog box will show up. Now, in this case, you need to zoom in and increase the radius to the point where the edges of the image are accentuated. Don't go too much. We don't want any texture here, just the edges. All right. So for this image, I guess 2.0 is fine. Hit OK. And it's done. Let's collapse it. Let's have a look at the before and after. So here is the before. Let me just show that to you. All right. Before, after. Before, after. Look at the painterly effect here. Now, as always, every action is customizable. If you want to change the values of sharpening, you will double click on the high pass and change the values. Or if you want to reduce the softening, you will just turn off one reduce noise. It will just reduce the values of softening. So I've added 4. I've added extra. So if you want to reduce the softening, you will keep on turning off these. As you can see, softening is now reduced. If you want more softening, you will just turn this on, right? So that's how it works. Have a look. Here's the before. Here's the after. The painterly effect in Photoshop, very easily created. The next action, according to me, is the best action in this bunch. If you don't use any of the other action, this is the action that you must try. It works amazingly awesome with portraits with texture, and the action is called Portrait Pop. Let's go ahead and try the action on this image. All you have to do, just open up the actions panel, select Portrait Pop, and play it. Now, it's all instruction based. Paint the face. All you need to do, click on stop, and then take the brush. Automatically, red color will be selected, and the brush will automatically be selected. Don't bother about it, and just paint on the protruding area of the face. Very straightforward. You can move the actions right here just for your convenience. Maybe a little bit over here on the hat. And maybe I'll just erase it from a couple areas like this. So I'll go to the eraser and just erase it from this area. Take back the brush and just paint it here. Maybe erase it from here. Take the brush. All right, this looks pretty good. Now, once you have done that, just play it again. Click on the play button again. Now it asks you to paint the features. Now you would click stop. Let's move it there. Now by features, we mean the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Any protruding area. This is fine. Maybe a little bit there. Maybe a little bit over here. Just a touch. All right. Just play it back again. Okay. Now it asks you how sharp do you want the overall face to be. So for this one, I'm going to select probably, let's go for 1.2 is good. Or let's go for 1.0. Hit OK. Now it's the time for the features. How sharp do you want the features to be? So for this image, I'm going to choose 1.7. That's fine. Hit OK. Now it will ask you to dodge. If you do not want to dodge, you will click continue. But if you do want to dodge, you will click stop. Let's decrease the flow to 5%. Now it automatically selects white color for you. So, and the mask is automatically selected. So all you need to do, just click on the areas protruding in the direction of light. Just like so. A little bit there, a little bit here. Maybe in the eyes a little bit, and maybe a little bit over here to add a little brightness. All right, now click on play again. Burn. You can stop and just darken some areas. You can decrease the flow to 2% and darken the areas which are facing away from the direction of light. This is simple dodging and burning, guys. Alright, hit play again. And you are done. Let's have a look at the before and after. So this is the before, this is the after. Oh my god, that's huge. Let's close the actions panel. Have a look at the difference. Before, after, before, after. If you think it's too much, you can always decrease the opacity. So I will go for opacity of 75 and we are done. I'm stunned. Before, after. Amazing, isn't it? And the last action we have is for sharpening. It's a different kind of sharpening, and I guess sometimes it works better than other methods of sharpening like high pass. Alright, so let's zoom into the image and then let's open up the actions panel. So go to Windows and then click on actions. Let's open up right there and let's minimize the portrait pop. Click on sharpening, just play it. And it will ask you the radius. Now the radius is how thick the edge is. Alright, so let's decrease the radius to 0.1. In that case, only noise will be accentuated. You want to keep on increasing it and stop at the point where just the edges are accentuated. Now, it's great because it's real-time sharpening, right? You can see it real-time. You don't have to apply a high pass, see it in grayish thing and do all of that. It's real-time. So you can just select a good value that works great with this image. Stay away from halos. If you go too high, you will see halos. We don't want any kind of halos there. So we have to choose a number that doesn't have any halos. So 1.8 or 2 is fine. Hit OK. And it's sharpened. Have a look. We have the sharpening layer. And let's have a look at the before and after. So this is the before. This is the after. Sharpened. Great. So there you go. That's all the actions I had for you. I hope these actions help you, and if they do, please do me a huge favor. It's not about subscribing the channel or pressing the bell button, which you have to do, but this is much bigger than that. If you find these actions helpful, please share it with as many people as you can. And share it with your photography friends, share it with your Photoshop friends. If you think somebody can be helped by using these actions, please share it with them. You don't have to mention me, you don't have to share the video or do any kind of thing of that sort. Just give them the actions. I hope you do that, and I hope this video helped you. And if it did, again, please hit the subscribe button or hit the bell button so that you don't miss any other future tip, trick, or tutorial. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.